T minus 5 minutes. T minus 4 minutes. T minus 3 minutes. T minus 2 minutes. T minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, look, black and blue lives. Yeah. Hey, that's a new vibe. Yeah. Hey, black and blue lives. Hey, that's a new vibe. Hey, park catalyst. I think we got a hit. Hey, black and blue lives. Look, we got Prince Blue and Steph talking black and blue lives. Hey, black and blue lives. It's Steph and Blue.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What is up? It is the Black and Blue Lives podcast with me, Dr. Prince Blue, and my co-host, retired Sergeant Step. And we are here sporadically, as somebody just said in here. Take you a little bit behind the curtains. This episode almost did not happen, and we're going to get into why it almost did not happen. But before that, I want to speak to my homie, my co-host, my ace, my partner in, I don't want to say crime, my partner in law enforcement, Step. What's going on, Step?
So, dude, I know why you were late now.
No, those actually, the shoes you saw, those came in the mail.
Oh, okay.
So I just grabbed them from upstairs. But
Dr.
the
Blue
reason
hit me up.
why this episode almost didn't happen because I was out, in the words of one of my great friends, I was being a family man. No, but I took my daughter and her best friend to the mall, and they wanted to go to a couple stores and just shop around and get stuff. So it was like tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to cancel another show, but somebody was in my ear saying, hey, it's gonna be a show, it's gonna be a show, it's gonna be a show. So that's the best part about this Step, is that when we don't have a show, or if we're late or anything, people are literally reaching out and like, hey, is there a show tonight? So that trust me, that warms me up more than anything, that people actually look forward to this and wanna hear our takes on things, and I really appreciate that.
No, absolutely. And I got to see Dr. Prince Blue didn't know I was on the air, and he was unboxing a new pair of shoes. He was smelling the inside of them. That was kind of weird, man. He's like, you like the smell of the new shoes?
Yeah, he was in
like
the background. He caught me. I was like,
yeah. Oh, they're sick. I like those.
And then he was like, do you see me? I was like, oh, oh shit, yeah, I see you. Hey, how you doing?
I was like, yo, bro. Yeah, but this time it wasn't me late. It was him.
Yeah, it was me late, but I appreciate everybody kicking it in. But this episode, it's about family, and it's about sacrificing. Step, with your 17 plus years and my over a decade, doing this for so long. We missed out on a lot of things. And one thing that people don't really understand when it comes to law enforcement is when we're out and about and we're fixing everybody else's problem, everybody else's marriage, everybody else's child situation, we have our own situations back at home. So when we're out and people are cursing at us, yelling at us, spitting at us, getting on us, and we're fixing other people's lives, our lives back home aren't a crystal stair either. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do an episode just unpacking, sacrifice is one of those words that people like to put on a shirt, people like to put in a hashtag, people like to put on a billboard. But I don't think people know what real sacrifice is. Like, I don't think people understand when it's Thanksgiving dinner and everybody, the whole family's here and eating around, everybody's eating, everybody's rushing, because why? Because I have to go to work. So they have to make sure the food is done. We have to eat, lay around. Then I have to go upstairs to get some sleep because I have to go and work third shift. So I have to miss Thanksgiving. And it's nothing worse than when you're leaving and everybody else is laughing and eating and having a good time, able to unbuckle their pants and just lay on the couch, and you got to go fight crime. So that's one of those things that people just don't understand how that makes these police officers feel. So I want people to remember that the next time you encounter a police officer and you're just going to town on that police officer, you don't know what they have going on back at home.
Yeah. We have the same problems they do. And, you know, I could count on one hand in 22 years of being a cop, the times that I had a Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, or, you know, you don't get it. In your case, third shift, you're working, you get a late call, you're working at 6, 7 in the morning, trying to get the power nap. You got to get the sleep before you go back and do it again. And it's not like you could just stay up after being up for 16 hours and then stay up and not getting sleep and do it again. You have to get that rest, man. And all the drama that comes along with it. Like people, you know, people call us all the time for trying to raise their kids before I had kids. And I'm like, you know, and we're supposed to have the answers about, you know, marriage counselor and, you know, what the issues with the kids are. I'll be straight up with them. I'll be like, man, I've got problems with my own kid, man. Like I probably give advice better than I could take it, but it's hard, man. Like, you know, I mean, it's like people expect us to have all the answers and know what to do, and you know, and we don't. And then we come home, we deal with that chaos every day, and the sacrifices that we make, and the firemen and other public safety and the nurses and people who have jobs like we do, and you come home and your families are look at the rate of divorces among cops, man.
Very high. DVs, very high.
You know, and then problems with kids, and yeah, it's tough because you're dealing with all that stuff and you come home and you don't want to deal with anything, right? Because you've been fixing everybody else's problem all day long. So when you get home, you just want to chill, and the baby's little, and then you get home and the wife's like, hey, here you go. You know, you just got in from third shift and the wife's handing the baby, I got to go to work. Here's the baby. And you're like, shit, you know, and it takes a toll on you.
It takes a hell of a toll on you. And I don't think people understand. Let's talk about it mentally. Like physically, you and I, we would be home, but mentally we were not home. We're checked out. Like, you know, the wife is saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we're like, I'm sorry, what? And it's like, were you listening? It was like, honestly, I checked out. And then they're feeling like they're not being listened to. They're not being understood. And then on top of that, it's like you are out fixing other people's problems, but yet when you come home, you have nothing for your own.
You got nothing left.
You got nothing left. And your kids don't, you know, if your kids are young, they don't understand that. All they know is, why isn't daddy here? Like, I don't understand. Why can't he wake up? Why can't he do this? Why can't he do that? And it's like, because I literally just work 15, 16 hours and the body just, it won't let you. It won't let you. Then you're cranky, then you're moody, then you're eating bad. You know, you don't have the best habits. Like, it's just unhealthy. And, you know, you got police officers out here that's doing all that. And then what are they doing? They're either self-medicating, they're either using pills to go to sleep, or they're drinking. Like, you know, Step. Remember, Step, you would hear officers that would be like, hey, what you doing when on your day off, man? First thing I'm gonna do is cracking open a 6-pack. Like,
or you know, even some of the third shifters, man, when they would start drinking when they got off at 6 in the morning.
And they would get, remember, it was a while where a lot was getting caught. They would have it on their breath. I believe one officer had it in his thermal.
Yeah, on duty.
Yeah, on duty. Like, it's like bad. And then it's like you want to have empathy, but then you have to realize a big part of the whole sacrifice is, you know, that you're going into a profession where you're expected to be above reproach. You're expected to know better than the general public. So you know not to drink and drive. You know not to do drugs. You know not to hit your wife. You know not to beat on your wife. You know not to cheat on your wife. You know not to take bribes and do all that stuff. So you have to know that you can't do all those things. And some officers, they just buckle under the pressure.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, man, from the department and the family life, and they can't take it because what happens is a lot of officers I talk to, and is like they deal with all this shit. Like I said earlier, they come home and their wife wants to bring up something they started arguing about last night because you don't have time, especially at a department like Charlotte when they're they're 500 officers short, and even when they were full staff, you don't have time to have an argument or deal with stuff on the phone or have because my wife knew not to call when I was at work unless she really needed something because I didn't have time because I was going from call to call. We were doing shit, or she's worried if I call, I might be in the middle of a felony traffic stop or trying to be sneaking up on somebody. My phone, forget to put it on vibrate. My phone goes off. So, but you can't deal with it. So all those emotions are kind of just put aside. I'm going to work, and you carry them with you. If you just had a drama with your wife, girlfriend, kid, or whatever, you go to work. That affects how you treat people at work. And you see it, like you see people come in and like I'll be like, "Blue, you good, man?" No, like like just have some drama or whatever, So, but try to keep each other in check. But you take that and then have to deal with everyone else's problems.
And then I don't know if people also don't understand this is that when you're out there and you're going from call to call to call and you see a child death and then you realize, then you start putting in perspective what you have at home, what you're sacrificing at home. And then sometimes you think we've all had that moment that where we think we like, do I want to do this for the next whatever umpteen years? Is there something else I can do that would have me home more? But you love the job. This is when you're a police officer, it's something that I honestly believe this. When you're a police officer, it's something that you were born to do, that you have to want to do. You can't get it because I needed a job, nobody else was hiring. Like you can't this is the job, you can't do that. You have to have a passion for it or you will not last.
Passion or calling, and if it's like for me, I was a Yahoo, that's all I ever wanted to be from the time I could remember. But some people get the calling later in life. They come and see it and they do a ride along and they be, hey, this is what I'm meant to do. And people that have that mentality, there's all these studies, and I'm sure you've looked at stuff getting your doctorate, is with them they're less likely to do something corrupt or do something illegal or jeopardize a job because their job, for me, it wasn't just a 9 to 5 or it was my identity. It's who I was. You don't say, hey, I work as a police officer. I am a police officer. I'm a police officer at work, at home. Hey, yeah, there's John. He's a cop. There's a everybody identifies you as a police officer. It was my identity. It was my calling, and you just can't shut it off when you get home. And the problem is you come home and you try to deal with arguments or disagreements with your family like you do at work, and it doesn't work well. And two, your patience level, you have to put up with all this shit being cussed out and everything. So then you get home, and we unfortunately, we can't go off on somebody in the public. They're yelling and cussing at us. We can't just unleash on them. But who do we unleash on? Our family. When we get home, our kid. We take our frustration. We bottle all that up inside. If it's death, trauma, just stress or whatever, and come home and then our families bear the brunt of that, because then we feel safe being mean to them because we're not going to get in trouble, right? Arguing with them and totally different. I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
And then let's also talk about how when things go on, like when things happen like Tamir Rice, when things happen like Kyron Lacey that we're going to talk about, when things happen with like George Floyd, talk about how some of your family sometimes look at you different. Like, are you okay with that? Are you okay with this? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? Is that what you do? Is that what you want to do for the rest of your life? You have people that have known you for all your life immediately just associate you with the most absurd and corrupt things that they see, and they automatically think that you're okay with that or down with that. And it's like you have to fight two battles. You didn't have to fight those out there, then you have to fight the people that know you the most, but they're getting so caught up in the emotions of everything and not knowing all the facts. And then we can't share what we know because a lot of that is information that can't be can't be put out, and then they're looking at you weird.
Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. And then people, and they always say it is true. Once you become a cop, after a couple years, almost everybody you associate with is cops, and that's not just because they understand you and they have the same schedule and this stuff. It's also because the people that you were friends with before look at you differently. Oh, he's a cop now. Like, they're all paranoid about what they can say and do, and they just treat you differently. You're the same person, but it's not only the person working in law enforcement that kind of alienates them. It goes both ways. I lost friends, and some people like, hey, I'm not to be friends with, especially after 16 or 20 riots. People, I had younger officers who, some of them quit because their family were going to turn their back on them, and people, they were getting shit on social media and stuff for being a cop, and they're like, I've been in it for a year. There's no way I could do another 20 to 30 years of this. And they're losing friends and people, all because of this career choice. I mean, but you think if these people really like you and their friends, they'd want good people in law enforcement. That's what we need. We don't need any more people that do this job for the wrong reason and put a black eye on the, it's like we said many times, what happened with George Floyd, that affected every cop in the nation, 750,000 plus police officers. And I would always tell people, they would say something, yeah, you guys. I'm like, what are you talking about, you guys? Yeah. I'm like, wait, hold on. If you have a bad experience at Taco Bell, you don't take it out on Burger King, right? It's the same profession, fast food, law enforcement, totally different.
And they go right back to them.
Yeah,
they go right back to them.
Yep. So,
and that's another thing about it. When people and I used to tell people all the time, don't ask me my opinion if you're not gonna like it, especially now that I'm retired and I'm out of the uniform. Like, I'm gonna tell you how it really is. Like, yes, I would have shot him. Yes, I would have stomped him. Yes, I would have did this. Yes, I would have did that, because I don't think people really understand. Like, when somebody is trying to hurt you, trying to take your life, you don't have time to wonder, oh, I wonder how this is going to look on CNN, MSNBC, Fox, how this going to look to the local newspapers. You're trying to save your life. Hell, how many videos we see where people get in fights for less? You didn't why didn't you give me my drink? My food order was wrong. You literally got people fighting in fast food restaurants for less. And you see people underneath the comments saying yes, cheering it on. But when it comes to somebody that's really trying to harm a police officer, it's like, well, good, one less pig. Well, he probably deserved it. What'd he do?
Of course, I mean, you could do you can't win. If you can do everything right within policy with the state law, then you have the admin who judge you and second guess you and money to quarterback. I think law enforcement is the only profession that everybody knows better than a cop, right? I mean, like I said, you were a cop for years and years. I was a cop for 22 years, and people know more than me. They know how to handle situations, better than me. They see a video. No, you should have handled this way. You should have done this.
You should have shot him in the leg.
You couldn't have done that. You needed to do this. That's the law. I know the law because I was a criminal justice student.
They don't have to give you their license. They don't have to get out of the car.
They don't have to get out of the car. I mean, it's like, I know the law. I know how many times you hear that dude, all the time, and it's always out there. A paralegal, they were a criminal justice major, and I know the law. I'm a criminal justice major. Well, I was too. But guess what? Then I went to police academy, and I know a lot more now than I did when I was a criminal. But they're like, I know, I don't have to get out of the car. I was like, oh, really? Okay, we'll see how that works out for you. Now, because if you don't do it, I'm going to make you, and then see what happens. See how you win.
And that's the best part about now, being a college professor. It's like, okay, so let's talk. All right, I could talk to you from the academia side. I could talk for you for the practical side because I've been there, done that.
Oh yeah, how do they respond? Like, knowing that you were a cop, like what kind of, like you hadn't. I've been meaning to ask you, like, tell me what it's like when you first step in that classroom, the auditorium or whatever, and
I just take the take the lesson plan out for the day. I start talking. I have my bullet points, and then let's say if they give a scenario about a traffic stop or something, I'll just start talking about it, and I'll tell them, my training and my experience and what I've experienced. And I have this thing when let's say one day you remember this one, Step. I was like entitlement. Because we talked about police corruption right now and entitlement. I was like, I gave them an example of, let's say Chick-fil-A gives you 70% off on a number one with no pickles for police officers in uniform. Let's say you're off duty, you still put on your uniform just to go get Chick-fil-A. And then somebody asks you for help and you say, I'm off duty. And they be like, wait a minute, did that happen? I'll be like, yes, it did. It sure enough did. And then you'll just, because once you can give them the book stuff, but they really want to know how is it practical? Like what does that look like in real life? So I even showed them some of my old body cam footage. Like this is what it really looks like when you're giving somebody verbal commands and they turn their back to you and they're not and they won't listen to your commands. You can't see their hands. You don't know what they have in their waistband. It's 3 a.m. on North Tryon. They just took you on a foot chase. What do? And they be like, oh, wow. Like, why are you breathing hard? Like, what's that? Like, what's going on? Like, why'd you do this? Why you do that? And then and once they see it, they're like, oh, okay, now I understand. So that's the beauty of, being a professor and actually doing the job, because I can give them the book, and then I can also show them how it happens in real time and in real experience, and they enjoy that part.
That's good, man. Do any of them act like they know more than you?
No, they do not. They ask me questions. They ask me scenarios. They pull the old, well, I know a person that does this. Is that okay? And stuff like that. But no, one thing about it which I love, and when I decided I was going to do this, I said my whole thing was to educate, not indoctrinate. So there's been students that have flat out said, I don't think police help anybody. I think we don't need cops. I never say you're wrong and I yell at them. Nope. I'll be like, okay, let's unpack that. Why do you think that? And then like one of my students was saying that they think that cops are just here to just give tickets and fill quotas. And I asked them, I said, do you know what a quota is? And they didn't even know the definition. That's how I know that's stuff that's ingrained and stuff that they saw and they indoctrinated.
Talking points.
Right. They're talking points. And then I asked the student, I said, give me an example. They said, well, the police were out and about this morning. They were stopping people up and down the road. I said, do you know what a ops is? They was like, no. I was like, police have ops where if there's a stretch of road where there's constant accidents, DUIs, and speeding, they'll get together, they'll do an op, and they say, hey, we're going to saturate this area and we're going to get people to slow the hell down.
Yeah, remember
that's being proactive.
At Eastway, that was probably the best 410s we did, and we overlapped. Was it Thursdays?
Mm-hmm. When you could ride 2-man.
We ride 2-man. We had checkpoints. We were getting. We had. Double the amount of cops. You think from when third shift checked on, they had double. We had double. We had like 40 cops in the district. Within, was it like 12 square miles or something?
Mm-hmm.
We were just packed, and something would happen. Everybody was getting into stuff, but we get paid to enforce laws and crime, and some, like, you got your crawlies who like to do traffic stops. Let them have it. You got other people like to do reports. Let them have. People find their niche in law enforcement. They like to do it. And people would always say, we'd pull somebody over and they're going 30 over, and have all these charges, and we give them a ticket, and they're like, oh, you're trying to a quota. I'm like, quota? Like,
you broke the law.
Like, yeah, like, it's not like, but they don't understand. But everybody knows better than we do, and but they feel, you hear that generation now. I feel this way. I feel that way. Well, I feel a lot of ways, but you have to know the facts and look at different perspectives.
That is so right, Step. And even our again back to our family, even our families ask that sometimes. I know y'all got quotas. We don't have quotas, and that's how I know people see. They hear something somewhere or they see something somewhere and they think that applies. I'm like, no, that's not how. That's not a quota. Is saying if your sergeant comes in and say, hey, I want you to stop 14 Hispanics and 7 black people today.
Or you have to write 10 tickets.
Oh, you have to write 10 tickets. Yeah. No, that's no. I want you to get out there. Hey, Central and Eastway has had 8 accidents due to speeding. Go do something about it.
Yeah, we got it. Exactly, and that's being proactive police officers. So, I mean,
I just don't know what to tell people. Would they feel better? Even let's humor the people. Step. If a sergeant does say, "Hey, I want y'all to get out there and write more tickets," he wants you to get out there and enforce the law. If you break the law, you get a ticket. You don't break the law, you don't get a ticket. It's as simple as that. Are you speeding? I was only 5 miles over. Were you speeding? What's the speed limit? 25. What were you doing? 30. Is that speeding? Is that over the limit? There you go. You broke the law. Now, if you were doing 25 and I wrote you a ticket, then yes, now you have a gripe. You was doing 25. Why am I writing the ticket? Simple as that.
You have very few officers, unless they're traffic guys, are writing tickets to everybody that pull over. I mean, like you had a unit like mine. We were looking for drugs, guns, and warrants, and people would always say, I don't know why, the Supreme Court of the United States has deemed pretextual stops are illegal, right? As long as you have reasonable suspicion to stop a vehicle, it doesn't matter if you stop it because you're looking for drugs, guns, or warrants, or whatever, as long as you have a reason to stop it. But we would stop people. Some of our best arrests and stuff were tag lights, turn signals, seat belts, expired tags, and we'd get guns, drugs, and warrants. We had a ratio 1 in 5 of people we stopped would have guns, drugs, and warrants, right? So we'd go in these high crime areas, we'd saturate it, and we would stop cars. Hardly anybody got a ticket, right? If everything checked out, you didn't have a warrant,
you're good to go.
You're good to go. But how many people talk themselves into a ticket? Because if I stop you and you start yelling and cussing at me, at minimum, you're going to get a ticket for why I stopped you. Because the way it works, it sounds stupid. If you're going to get complained on and you don't give that person a ticket, it looks worse for me than I do.
It absolutely does. So they're like, then what was the purpose of the stop if you let them off with a warning?
Yeah, then but if I'm like, dude, you're not getting a ticket. I mean, we stop, driver's license revoked. If we're doing like some street crime stuff, we stop at DWI and there's no traffic dudes. We'll tell them to park and have somebody come get them because we're looking for bass and we're not, brim fishing. But people don't realize. But so many people would resist arrest, fight, flee, and do all this stuff and all this drama of a ticket, a traffic stop that they weren't even. They were going to get a warning.
We're going to get a warning.
How many, like 1 in 10 people you stop would probably get a ticket? I mean, probably, you check everything. It's make sure it too. You want to make sure it makes a difference. If I stop you for speeding and you go in 15 over and you're, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that, and oh, cool. Are your license checked out? You don't have any warrants. You're not nervous. There's no, odor.
There's no smell of marijuana, no smell of alcohol. You're good.
Just slow down. But the same person, if you stopped them, like, why'd you stop me? You can't stop me. You can't do this. You can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. I know my rights. I'm only going 12 over. Blah, 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 blah. And they're going to talk themselves in a ticket. I mean, the same, you have the same scenario, the same crime. And I hate the old school mentality. You hear people say it all the time. And I totally disagree with it. Did you have to have your mind made up if you're going to give that person a ticket or not before you get out of the car? I'm like, that's total bullshit because there's 10,000 different scenarios that could happen between the time I hit my blue lights, talk to that person, find out what's going on. And it's my discretion. And believe it or not, I could give that person a warning who was nice and acts like they're going to comply. Yeah, I'm sorry, I need to get my license, blah, blah, blah. Everything's fine. And the next person you stop for the exact same thing, who's militant and starts yelling and cursing, and they're going to get a ticket. You got two people that did the same thing. One person drives home without a ticket. The other one has a court date in 6 weeks. So, and then, but people, it blows their mind. They're like, you can't do that. You have to give, even police admit it, you have to give the same person. If you stop them, I'm like, no, you don't. It's called discretion. And it's common sense.
It's funny. We use discretion, people complain. We don't use discretion, people complain. It's like, again, it's the job that you will never win, because there will always be somebody that have a problem with something.
Administration and the public, and then everybody thinks, oh, that cop thinks he's above law. He got stopped for going 15 over. He didn't get a ticket. Well, guess what? A lot of people get pulled over for but then it's like, oh, well, he's a cop, I have to give him a ticket, because if not, it looks bad. No, you don't have to do anything, right? So
people get stuck in thinking, especially police officers, because that we've been there, where you're on a traffic stop and you literally got nothing. You have this sense that they're dirty, but you have nothing
all the time.
Their license is good.
They're cooperative.
They're cooperative. You don't smell anything. But you feel they have, but you don't have anything. And where a lot of officers get in trouble is they try to manufacture stuff. Like they try to get under their skin. They try to do all that crap. And I'm like, dude, let it go.
It's not worth
it.
Your career, your integrity to do that. I mean, how many times we stopped or got out with somebody and they're running their mouth and they're cursing and doing this stuff, and you want so bad to find something to charge them with,
but
there's nothing there.
Nothing.
And you just have to walk away. And then,
Step, what about this one, Step? You remember these? You'll pull somebody over and the car literally leaks. It reeks of marijuana, but there's no marijuana in the car. The person they smoke a lot, and they just, people that smoke a lot, it's everywhere. It's on their porches everywhere. Hey man, I smell it's everywhere.
They drive by you like, I smell weed coming from that car.
Oh God.
You do that. And the people are like, there's no way you smell weed. Bullshit. I smelled it earlier. Today I'm driving like somebody's smoking some loud.
Somebody's smoking, but you have nothing. You searched the car, you got nothing.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
Today is your lucky day. And they can go up the street and pull out a brick from underneath a compartment in the car.
We didn't find it. Just think of the stuff we missed.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. It's part of the game, man. And if we can't get him this time, we'll get him again. And if not, luck's on his side, man. You know what I mean? So.
It is. I did want to touch on the whole Kyren Lacy thing, because there's stuff coming out now to where, they say he wasn't. He didn't cause the accident. The cop told the witness to lie on the form and all this stuff. I'm not getting into all that. What I want to get into is the reason why so many people are either backtracking now or deleting tweets or deleting posts or now have to apologize for what they said. You know why, Step? Because nobody is patient anymore. Nobody waits for body cam anymore. Nobody waits for statements anymore. Nobody waits for investigations. Step, you and I want nothing more than to make sure that cops get their fair shake and that they're not blaming something. But you and I both know we have to wait. There's a lot of times that a case that happens somewhere, you and I are privy to that information. It's nothing for us to call somebody and be like, hey, what's going on? Well, this we got. But still, until it's actually released by admin and administration and it's a press conference and it's tangible evidence.
It was like 2016.
Right. You can't be out here just saying anything and willing and saying, oh, cops are corrupt. They did this, they did that, because it's all wrapped in emotions. The name of the game is to get you emotional. If you say corrupt, you say frame a black man, frame a black woman. Once you say that, people are going to automatically just block out all facts and just go for the emotions and the feelings of it.
Yeah, 2016 is a great example of that, is because we couldn't release a video without a court order of the I don't remember the dude's name, but the one that caused a riot. We had 12 officer involved shootings in 2016. One was mine, but then God, what was that guy's name? When you know what I'm talking about. They said, it calls. So they said the guy had a Bible, came out with a Bible, and they shot him. All these lies were going out, and they couldn't release a video. And I think it was 2 weeks in, a week and a half, 2 weeks in, before they actually released a video.
You talk about Keith Lamont Scott?
Yeah, but by then, look, we had 2 weeks of riots.
2 weeks
getting burned down.
City burning.
People getting killed. Remember that dude got killed down at the Omni? Did the dude try to shoot the police? And we were coming down to reinforce them. And it was Dance's platoon, and somebody reached over to shoot one of the cops, and some dude walked in front of him, shot him in the noggin, killed him. People were getting literally killed. Things were on fire. It was legit over a false narrative. And they still were, and then when the video came out, people were like, well, I mean, yeah, people kind of shut the hell up a little bit. The protesters are still in protest. But
how we know that's the facts?
Yeah, that video didn't doctor. People like it.
You can see, don't no gun fall that lightly. That was a piece of paper.
Yeah. So, but look at the damage that caused, and then going back to the family perspective, you go home, and a lot of times the wives or the sons or daughters or whoever, girlfriends, they're like, I don't understand what happened. That's bullshit. And sometimes, you think they're going to be pro-police and on the side, and they don't understand. You have to explain it to them. And even sometimes when you do, they're like, well, that's fucking bullshit. Like in my scenario, you talk different when you're working the hood than you do at home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you do. Like I can't go to the hood and talk to some gangbanger like I do my kid or my wife or whatever. You have to use certain language and stuff. And like at the time, my wife thought it was so unprofessional that I talked the way I did. She didn't understand that's how you talk in the hood, right? So, hey, what's up, man? You got your ID? Like, or just whatever. You just kind of talk the lingo.
Yeah, you want to tell some, sir, do you have your ID, sir?
I'm Sergeant Stibb with CMPD.
They're going to be like, oh, yeah, you fresh fish.
They're going to be like, you're a fucking rookie. You're a fucking
you're a rookie.
And trying, but you talk, hey, man, and sometimes you got to break people up. I don't know who the fuck you're talking to, man. I'm the wrong motherfucker. You have to, oh, all right, my bad, or sometimes take it to them. But they were like, she couldn't understand for years that I was unprofessional until she did a ride along. And then like, oh shit, I see. She understood then. But a lot of times the families don't understand. They don't, they see the body camera stuff like, why are you acting that way? Why are you talking that way? That's not the way you talk at home. Like
I took
I'm a long way from home. I'm not in Kansas anymore. This is, you think from where I live now, as a crow flies, 10 miles down the road is a different world, man. People getting shot, people getting, murdered daily, robbed. It's just different. To
this day, Step, that's still one of the most important tools that I think citizens need to utilize a lot more. The ride-alongs.
Oh, it
changed so many minds and narratives with ride-alongs. It's not even funny.
Even look at those.
And real quick, Step, do it on third shift. Don't do first shift. Don't do second shift. Do third shift.
It's like the the moon's out, goons out. They have full moon. It's a different world, man. They think everybody's in bed at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and you go out.
No.
It's
the freaks come out at night.
It's a different world.
Come out at night.
And like, a lot of places, third shift, you're not sleeping. You're running calls until 4 or 5 in the morning. Constantly.
Step. Let's give people an example. You and I work Eastway, North Tryon division. You know how many bars we have in North Tryon and Eastway division, and I ain't talking like cocktail hookah bars. I'm talking about bars, clubs, strip clubs, gay clubs, nightclubs, gambling clubs, arcade clubs,
underground clubs, bars, Fight Club.
You know the first rule of Fight Club?
You want to talk about Fight Club?
Nobody talk about Fight Club. That's correct. We had all of that. And for the most part, we didn't have to go into those places because they already knew. They was like, look, CMPD don't bother us. We don't bother them. And if people did stuff in those clubs, they would bring them out to us. They'll be like, here they go, officer. How you doing, Step? How you doing, Officer Blue? We're good.
They don't want the attention.
They don't want none of that attention. If we say, hey, we got, I done served plenty of warrants and chasers. Like, hey, is so in there? He over there.
You'd be the first one to be like, hey, anybody got a warrant at Chase? You love going in there, man, in your little police uniform.
They probably think you one of the village people.
Hello. Well,
here we go.
I was getting ready to solo, man.
No, I was about to say they probably think you're one of the village people when you go go in there with your uniform.
You a real cop or you a stripper? You're a stripper.
Take it off, Big Daddy. Wait, whoa. This is a real badge. Get your hand. Wait, is that 100?
I mean, you got another 50 in your pocket. You might be seeing more than you want to.
Yeah, exactly. But just to close it out about family and stuff like that, and these are some of the stories. Also, we can't tell families because they won't understand our humor. Cop humor. There's dark humor and then there's cop humor. Cop humor is worse than dark humor. I'm talking standing over somebody's brains blown out. You like, man, I was gonna get something to eat, but it looked like whatever that's on that ground right there, that looked like what I was gonna eat tonight. Like you just
feel like I'm craving spaghetti.
Just terrible, god awful, just the worst humor. Like, oh man, ma'am, I'm sorry for your loss. Like, is that a brand new stereo or like what brand is that? Like you're like so like you just don't have anything. You're just
and you have to though because
you'll go crazy
because you're literally you have to disconnect and you can't you just take it, put it on the body. That's why you use humor. Cops use humor and firemen and medic.
Like
nurses,
people
doctors.
like I remember one time a guy like dude was like dead, and I was like,
DRT. Dead
he had a second phone, and his baby mama was on the scene. And I was like, you know what? I should give her the second phone. She'll probably try to wake him up and whoop his ass.
He'd be like, yeah, why'd your boy got two phones for? Who's Latasha? Who's Latasha keeps taking out the phone?
Petty and death. But those are just some of the things as police officers, we can't tell our family about that because they're going to be like, oh my God, that's awful. How could you laugh at something like that? If I don't laugh, honey, like I'll probably take myself out because like you just don't understand seeing fresh spaghetti on the ground. And for those who don't know, that's talk for brain matter. Like it just does something to you. It just does.
Yeah. I mean,
you just thinking about it now.
I'm like, you think back to some of the things we were talking about and saying, like, damn, that was bad. But
what you gonna do?
Yeah.
No, but man, thank you everybody for rocking with us today. I appreciate you for hanging out with us with our late start. Please make sure you follow us, me at Real Prince Blue on all socials, him on Instagram Step2223, on TikTok TOG4280. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. If you like this, make sure you share more. Go ahead, Step.
I forgot to ask, how many of your students have asked for autograph from me?
Not one. Damn. Matter of fact, they will probably call you racist. They would probably think that you're racist.
It's just the haircut, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Steph. If I was to build like a Sims character, a generic racist cop, I would pick your template. You're the template.
You saw we talked about. I'll walk up on a scene. They're like, "Look at that racist motherfucker." I'm like, "What did I do?
Look at that skinhead motherfucker!" Like,
I didn't do anything.
Who, Sergeant Step? He's not racist.
I didn't do anything, like literally. But it was just like I'm like, damn, man, I don't even have.
You need to worry about me, not him, because I know what you're doing.
If I could.
But yeah, make sure y'all check us out on all platforms. I appreciate everybody, and remember, make sure you take care of your chickens and your mentals. Like Marshawn Lynch said, chickens and mentals is your money and your mental health. And with that being said, we are out of here. We won't see you next week because next week me and my wife next week, me and my wife will be celebrating our 10-year anniversary. We will be having our vow renewal. So we're out of here. So that's right. She stayed with me through all my cop stuff. So if I can do it, you can do it. This is a testament to making sure you have the right person in your corner. And just so happen that this episode is about family. And without my family, I will not be here today. So we're going to celebrate that next week. So there will be no Black and Blue Lives next week for good reason. So we'll see y'all the following week. So make sure you hit that notification bell. So when we do go live, you'll be plugged in. So I appreciate y'all. Step, you got anything for the people?
No, man. See you in 2 weeks.
All right. And with that being said,
the shoes. Yep. There you go. I caught you though, man. It's like
you did catch me. Like, see y'all next week. Following week. Sorry.
2 weeks.
Yeah. Look, Black and Blue Lives. Yeah. That's a new vibe. Yeah. Hey, Black and Blue Lives. Yeah. Hey, that's a new vibe. Yeah. Hey, podcast lit. I think we got a hit. Yeah. Hey, Black and Blue Lives. Yeah. Look, we got Prince Blue and Steph talking Black and Blue Lives. Yeah. Hey, Black and Blue Lives.